To be or not to be, Shakespeare once wrote, there is one tiny creature that if we were without it, we would cease to be. We, the great humans, rely on this tiny creature to bring us out from the hunter-gatherer era and into the modern world. The bee! But maybe there is another tiny insect that could take away our modern way of life. That tiny creature is destroying all of the bees around the world progressively. Veuroa Destructor. What is it? It's the tiny insect that's causing so much trouble with the beekeepers. This small mite attacks the larvae, or adults, of the honeybees by latching itself onto the back of the insects and injecting RNA viruses, which affect the DNA of the bug. This dramatically shortens the life of the bee and can eventually lead to the destruction of the colony, total colony collapse. Australia is the only major beekeeping country that doesn't yet have the Veuroa mite. This makes us extremely important in not only producing honey and beeswax, but being able to produce food crops, as bees pollinate the food. Only a few plants, like banana, pineapple, and some grains don't need bees to survive. If bees die out, the world as we know it would collapse. This goes to show how reliant we are on a few species of insects. If they die out, then we would have no fruit, no vegetables, and we would lose animal biodiversity. If that doesn't get us, then the winter would, as we would have no fiber-producing crops that rely on bees to pollinate, and no pollination of crops for grazing or wool-producing livestock. So, what do bees pollinate? Broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, chilies, capsicum, chestnut, watermelon, coconut, coffee, hazelnut, carrot, palm oil, walnut, cotton, apple, avocado, pear, berries, vanilla, grape, olive, lemon, lime, orange, onions, potatoes, mandarin, leek, tomatoes. And that is only some of it. This brings the whole idea of biodiversity into context. We need a whole lot of different species to survive. If there was no other life on Earth, we wouldn't be able to exist. No food, no shelter, no anything except sterile dirt and water. We rely on other species. We need biodiversity and bees. Veuroa Destructor is a natural occurrence. Only when it jumps feral bees, like the European honeybee, did it start to cause major problems. As the honeybee now pollinates most Australian plants, if the honeybee is wiped out, then we lose the plants pollinated by it. But worse, if the Veuroa mite jumps to native bees and destroys them as well, then we lose the rest of the bee-pollinated plants, and the native fauna too. We need biodiversity in bees.